Can I get your name and badge number?
For what?
What?
For what? What do you need?
So I know who I'm making a complaint against.
For what?
For speeding.
Speeding?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I have you recorded doing 80 miles an hour in a 65 mile an hour zone.
Okay. License, registration, proof of insurance.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Because now you're in.
No, I'm
Yes.
doing nothing. If you're gonna start this shit, you get your sergeant over here.
License, registration.
Get your sergeant over
License,
here.
registration.
Get your sergeant over
License,
here.
registration.
Get your sergeant over here.
License?
No, I ain't giving you shit.
You
Get your
pulled o-
sergeant over here.
You pulled over on a traffic stop, so you had to.
I didn't pull over on your traffic
Yes, you
stop.
did.
I pulled over here because I had to answer my phone.
No.
Yeah,
License?
that's exactly why. You're not getting shit from me. If you're gonna keep this up, get your sergeant out here.
License, registration.
You
proof of
ain't getting
insurance.
shit from me.
Can 30 minutes of an illegal arrest really lead to an $80,000 settlement? Well, that's exactly what happened with Barry in Adams County, when deputies arrested him without fully understanding the situation. On February 5th, 2024, in Adams County, Colorado, a routine situation turned into something that quickly got out of hand. Barry Zatkalik, a former reserve officer from the Denver Police Department, was driving along Highway 85 when he noticed something unusual. A sheriff's deputy sped past him at around 80 miles per hour in a 65 zone with no emergency lights or sirens. He appeared to be driving casually, without any urgency. That didn't sit right with him. Open loop. So instead of ignoring it, Barry decided to record the moment, intending to file a complaint later. A few minutes later, he spotted the same deputy conducting a traffic stop and pulled over at a distance to record once again. What happened next, however, escalated far beyond a simple interaction.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Everything okay?
Yep. Can I get your name and badge number?
For what?
What?
For what? What do you need?
So I know who I'm making a complaint against.
For what?
For speeding.
Deputy Berlinski did not like that one bit.
So.
Okay. License, registration, proof of insurance.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Because now you're in.
No, I'm
Yes.
doing nothing. If you're gonna start,
License-
you get your sergeant over here.
Things escalate even more.
Oh, you
License-
ain't getting my.
License,
You ain't
registration.
getting my.
License, registration.
You ain't getting nothing.
The deputy approached Barry, demanded identification, and within moments, the situation turned into a confrontation that led to Barry being forcefully removed from his vehicle and placed in handcuffs. And the most surprising part? The reason for the arrest didn't actually hold up.
License, registration.
You ain't getting nothing.
Okay, then I will arrest you for obstruction.
You do that, buddy, and I'll sue the out of Adams
Step out.
County.
What makes this situation strange right from the start is how quickly the focus shifts. Because instead of addressing why he was being recorded, the deputy immediately turns his attention to Barry, asking for his driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance. But Barry doesn't comply, because, as he clearly states, he wasn't part of the traffic stop. He was simply sitting in his own vehicle, recording from a distance. So obviously, this wasn't an interaction that required identification. It was him exercising his First Amendment rights.
You ain't getting my shit.
License, and I will arrest you for obstruction.
You do that, buddy, and I'll sue the out of Adams
Step out.
County.
Now, was this really a lawful demand, or was something already being misunderstood? From there, the situation doesn't calm down. It escalates. The deputy continues to press for identification, repeating the same demands, while Barry keeps asking for one thing instead: a supervisor. Like, was it really that hard to call one? Then, after the back and forth, the deputy claims Barry is obstructing an investigation. Still, Barry tries to push back, insisting that he's doing nothing illegal, and even warns that if he's arrested, he will take legal action. At this point, it's no longer just a disagreement, it's a clash of understanding. And in the end, it gets physical. The deputy arrested him and even threatened to tase him. Even when Barry informed the officer that he had a concealed carry weapon and confirmed his background as a former reserve officer, they didn't listen to him.
You're not getting shit from me. If you're gonna keep this up, get your sergeant out here.
License, registration.
You
proof of
ain't getting
insurance.
shit from me.
Hey,
You
then
ain't getting shit from me.
Then now you're obstructing and
No,
I'll
I'm
take you to
not.
jail.
Obstruction is a physical.
No, it's not.
Look, dude, you better get your sergeant out here,
Now you're
okay?
verbally assaulting
Get your
me.
sergeant out here.
License, registration,
Hey,
proof of
I
insurance.
can do that. I can tell you to that's the First Amendment. If you got a problem, get your sergeant out
License,
here.
registration,
You
proof
ain't
of
getting shit from me. Get your sergeant out here.
Okay.
I'm asking for your sergeant for the last time.
And I'm asking
Get
for
your sergeant out
No.
here. Well, you
License-
ain't getting my shit.
License
You ain't
registration?
getting my shit.
License
You
registration?
ain't getting nothing.
Okay, then I will arrest you for obstruction.
You do that, buddy, and I'll sue the of
Step
Adams
out.
County.
Step out.
Got it.
Step out.
You better get a. I want a sergeant here.
Step out.
I want a sergeant
Step
here.
out, and you're gonna get tased.
Totally get paid. I have a weapon right here. Where? What do you have?
After the arrest, a supervisor arrived at the scene to understand what actually happened. The deputy begins explaining his side, stating that Barry approached the traffic stop, started recording, and then refused to provide identification when asked. Basically, in his eyes, that refusal was enough to justify escalation. He frames it as non-cooperation, something that interfered with his ability to do his job properly.
Really appreciate it.
Not a problem.
Let me just check your hat real quick. All right, sir. He said I was doing 85 and a 65, and he's just recording hypocrisy at its best. So then I asked him for his license registration because he pulled up on my traffic stop. So I was dealing with him second, and he wouldn't give it to me because he's a Denver cop and he knows his law, his rights.
Is he retired?
I didn't know. I didn't even see. I just saw he was a Denver cop.
But now the situation isn't just about authority anymore. It's about whether that authority was used correctly in the first place. As the situation is reviewed more closely, the supervisor starts questioning the validity of the charge itself. If you strip everything down to the facts, Barry wasn't part of the original traffic stop. He was in his own vehicle, recording from a distance, without physically interfering. So where exactly is the obstruction? That's why you can clearly see the disappointment in the supervisor's eyes. It means they realized they made a huge mistake, and it even got recorded.
He stepped out lawfully, just wouldn't identify himself. It's weak, but I got it.
I'm driving down 85. I'm leaving Brighton. I'm on my way to the Ford dealership to get my core back on the starter. Okay. I'm doing 65. This guy passes me, and I look at my thing, and I'm doing the speed limit. And he passed me, I mean, pretty aggressively. So I started to go to catch up to him because I wanted to pace him to see how fast he was going. He was going about 80 miles an hour. I recorded it. Like I said, he just passed me and he disappeared. Okay? So my intention was, I've got this on video. I was gonna call the station and complain.
Get a hold of me.
Yeah, whoever.
Essentially, that's what we've come to.
Right. So I had no idea where he went, but I turned on 104th to go to the Ford dealership, and he had somebody pulled over, and right at the same time my phone rang. So I noticed that it was the same guy, and I thought, boy, isn't that something if he's given whoever he pulled over a ticket for speeding? Just sat there, and I put my phone out the window to record so that I could get a picture of the guy. And then I just sat in my car, and after he wrote the guy a ticket and let him go, then he came up to me and he said, can I help you? And I said, no. I said, can I get your name and badge number? And he said, what for? And I said, because you were speeding on Highway 85. Oh yeah? I said, yeah, you were doing 80 in a 65. No lights, no sirens, no nothing. And I could tell that you were just your casual driving. Give me your driver's license, insurance, and proof of insurance. I said, I'm not giving you my information. He said, give me your stuff or I'll get you for obstruction. I said, you didn't pull me over. I don't have to give you my driver's license. You didn't pull me over.
Right.
So then he opened my car, yanked me out, handcuffed me, and here I sit. And I told him, I want a sergeant. You have no to do this. And that officer that's going up to my van right now admitted it. He said, yes, you shouldn't be.
That deputy's right there. He's right there with you.
So I'd like these handcuffs off. I'd like to be going. I'd like that guy's
That's
information, and I'd like to go on my way here.
That's going to happen. So
Soon, the justification that once sounded firm starts to lose its ground under scrutiny. Even the supervisor himself calls it a weak reason to make an arrest under the name of obstruction, especially since Barry was only recording and refused to identify himself. But he wasn't legally required to do so in that context. He wasn't being detained as part of a lawful stop, and he wasn't interfering in any active way. And after all of this, Barry finally gets the chance to explain his side. Barry explained that he was driving on Highway 85 when Deputy Walter Berlinski suddenly passed him at a high speed, around 80 miles per hour, in a 65 miles per hour zone without any lights or sirens. It's strange because the same person responsible for enforcing the law was, at that moment, clearly not following it. So naturally, Barry decided to record it with a simple intention: to document what he saw and file a formal complaint later.
Some of these guys, they forget that it's not against the law for someone to videotape your traffic stop. It's not against the law for them to pull to the side of the road. It's not against the law to make a comment. I can't think of any way that would interfere with it.
And
some people,
and I even said to him, at least if their body cams on, at least 6 times. When he kept asking me for my stuff, telling me he was going to arrest me for obstruction, I said, I need a supervisor. Before you keep doing this shit, I'd like a supervisor. And he said no. And then that's when
I called you on.
And that's when he yanked me out and threw me in handcuffs.
Oh, I'll handle it. It'll be taken care of. I promise you that. I'm not going to let it. It's not going to just go away.
Okay.
It will be handled. I'm sorry. I will apologize.
And honestly, if someone in authority is breaking the rules in plain sight, isn't recording it the most reasonable thing to do? As Barry continued, he explained that by pure accident, he spotted the same deputy conducting a traffic stop. He parked legally to observe and record, not to interfere. When the deputy approached him after finishing his stop, Barry simply asked for his badge number. And this is where things start to get frustrating. When he refused to provide any documentation like his license and registration because he wasn't part of the traffic stop, the deputy started to threaten him. Barry was clearly frustrated after receiving that kind of treatment despite doing nothing wrong. And the fact that the supervisor also agreed shows how far the deputy went just to justify his own actions. So, Barry demanded the apology, which was obvious after what the deputy did. As the situation settles carefully, the officers begin to acknowledge it, pointing out that recording a traffic stop or pulling over isn't illegal, and simply making a comment doesn't cross any legal boundary either. And that matters, because the entire arrest was built on the idea that Barry was obstructing, when in reality, none of his actions actually met that standard. In fact, under the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, individuals are protected when recording public officials in public spaces, as long as they're not actively interfering. So at this point, the situation isn't just questionable anymore, it's clearly leaning in one direction. Slowly, the conversation softens, the approach changes, and for the first time, there's an acknowledgement that this situation didn't need to go this far.
For the sheriff's office, I'm sorry it happened. It shouldn't have happened. Like I said, let me go talk to him for a minute, and I'll be back in just a minute, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Well, here's my business card. Didn't mean it to go this route. Unfortunately, it did. So that is my apologies. But so I don't know what else to say.
You ought to know better.
So I will bite my tongue on that response, sir.
Yeah. Am I free to go?
Absolutely, sir.
Well, I'll see you in court.
Okay, sir. Have a great day. Thank you, sir. Have a great day. No, sir. Enjoy your day, sir. Thank you.
What the hell did he just say?
He said I'm an idiot and to see me in court. And then grabbed his balls and put me off.
At the same time as you have on camera.
Yes.
You know, stay further away, especially if he's an off-duty cop, really. That's stupid.
He is?
He's a reserve. He comes and does this because he is.
Soon after that realization, the supervisor formally apologized on behalf of the Adams County Sheriff's Office. He also assures Barry that the matter would be handled and that it won't just be ignored or brushed aside. And not long after, the deputy himself also offers an apology, an attempt to take some level of accountability for what just happened. But even with that apology, the atmosphere didn't really go back to normal. There was slight awkwardness, a bit of tension still hanging in the air. Because at the end of the day, this wasn't just a misunderstanding, it was an arrest that never should have happened. And when Barry made it clear he would take this to court, you can tell he meant it. The officers try to keep things somewhat normal, thanking him, keeping their tone polite, almost like they're trying to ease the situation and move past it. But by this point, it's already clear, this isn't something that's just going to be forgotten. After this incident, Barry chose to take legal action. Through his attorney, he sent a formal notice outlining the wrongful arrest and everything that led up to it. More than a year later, Adams County agreed to settle the case, paying $80,000. An internal investigation was also launched, although no clear disciplinary action was publicly confirmed. And honestly, that part is surprising. Like $80,000 for being handcuffed for around 30 minutes. It sounds like a massive win, but at the same time, it also feels serious when you really think about it. Because today, this entire situation was recorded on Bodycam, from the moment it escalated to the moment it was corrected. There was proof. But now imagine this exact situation happening years ago, before body cameras, before phones, before any kind of recording. How many situations like this would have gone unquestioned? How many people might have been treated the same way, but never had the chance to prove it? That's what makes this more than just a payout or a viral clip. It's a reminder that sometimes the only thing standing between a mistake and the truth is whether someone was able to record it. So what do you think about this situation? Was this just a misuse of authority to cover up a mistake, or something that should have never happened at all? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more real stories like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stick around, because there's more coming your way.